Welcome to the Trailmix Love Piecast, a podcast where we'll dive into different aspects of Trailmix games, love and pies, and why Pride is such an important month for us to celebrate. Each week, we will invite new Trailmixers to come and talk with us about different aspects of Pride when it comes to the workplace, the games industry, or our game, Love and Pies. So join me, your host Philippa, as we talk to all these amazing guests. Hello, I'm here today with our lead game designer, Becca, and
Hi.
product manager, Rue,
Hello.
to talk about the importance of LGBTQ representation in mobile games. I want to start with a little icebreaker.
Ooh, fun.
If you could have any Love and Pies character as your best friend, who would it be and why?
Edwina. I think me and Becca are both very aligned on this. No, I would say Edwina because I just love her energy. I get where she comes from, and she's had clearly a troubled childhood. And I feel like as her best friend I could vibe with that and make her feel better.
Aw.
Yeah, see, I don't know if my impulse with Edwina is a healthy one. It's
Yeah.
just so much I can fix her. No, there's plenty of other actually lovely people to choose from.
I think you guys should stick to your guts. If you want Edwina as your best friend, so
Team
be it.
Edwina.
Honestly, though, May or May kind of
Yeah.
would be awesome. Just hype all the time. You get stuff done.
I think that's mine.
To be fair, I do like May and Edwina's little relationship.
Me
Going on in theme
too.
seasons, you
Mhm.
can really see they've got even though they're rivals, it's
Yeah.
quite a cute little
Such good
relationship.
foils to
friendship.
each
Yeah,
other.
exactly.
I'm going to ask a more serious question now. Why do you think representation is important in mobile games?
I'm a really big mobile game player.
Mm.
I mean, I used to game a lot in general, but I didn't have time for it in my life anymore. And
Mm.
mobile games slotted in so effortlessly into my daily routine. And I think that's a reason why a lot of people are really drawn to mobile casual titles, because they can do it on their bus ride to work, they can do it on work breaks, they can do it while they're waiting for the laundry or something. And because it's so accessible, I think having positive representation there allows us to bring sort of the world that we want to see into people's palms and show them that there's a lot of love out there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think
Mm.
everyone plays mobile games, right? Either it's on the bus, the train, like Becca
Yeah.
said, everyone's playing some version or form of a mobile game. And with Love and Pie is the ability that we can provide a narrative to players that kind of feels like home for them. So for me, for example, I'm an Asian person. Having Raj in the game was
Yeah.
a big thing for me. I was like, whoa, there's actually a brown Hindu person in the game.
Yeah.
Crazy. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Having games are more accessible means we can explore more diversity in them because we are approaching an audience who are diverse
Yeah.
rather than focusing on a specific group of people who might like a game, for
Mm.
example.
That's cool. Yeah. How do you two work together and what exactly are you doing on Love and Pies?
I am lead game designer on Love and Pies, and as a game designer, I'm responsible for the sort of day-to-day gameplay that our players face. So the merging that players do, the new features that come into the game, very much on the sort of fun aspect, the ones that engage players and make them want to come back and have fun in the day.
And then my side is kind of day to day is pretty much working alongside Becca, coming up with feature ideas, how we balance those features, what kind of cool things can we add in, and then pretty much testing them and going, okay, this one works better, let's go with that. And then also working conjunction with player support and community, finding out from them what do players like, what don't players like, and how can we make it better for them too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we have a good working relationship.
Absolutely. And I don't know, sometimes there's this sort of idea that maybe there's sort of this yin yang thing going on where it's it's good and evil, but it doesn't function that way. There's no such thing. We need each other in order to make our game robust and fun. And often the things I come up with are also not that fun out of the gate. Pushback is really important in the
Yeah.
creative process, and that goes for everything. It's a healthy relationship. The light
Nice.
cannot exist without the dark, and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love what you said, but I was going to call you guys yin and yang. and then you said- so
You're
I'm
the
gonna-
problem, Phil.
How exactly do you balance so values, things like showing representation in the game, whilst actually making the game successful as well?
In terms of the trade-offs that we made, in terms of what is really important to us values wise, and particularly if we're talking about representation,
Mhm.
there has never been a case in my recollection where we've had to cut back on any of that for financial gain on something. In past companies, I've definitely had the experience of talking about well, which part of the audience are we rubbing wrong, if we're going to be representing this thing, are we just going to shoot ourselves in the foot here. that has never been up for debate at Trailmix, like, during the time that I've worked here.
I think
Mm,
what's really good is that because we're such a diverse bunch of people in the company,
mm,
that people come to us with ideas and go, "Hey, can we do this for this thing that's happening at this time? Like, it'd be really fun if we can do something to promote that." Because our game is something that we want to be proud of, to go, we are diverse, we are inclusive, and we want to do things that players enjoy
yeah.
and also give them learning experiences. Like, for example, like for my culture, Diwali is such a big time of the year. And, if we could provide something for people to understand why it's so important to us, and like if we can do something that we're also providing them with fun content, something new and exciting, but also at the same time, we're providing them information and like they're learning something from the game too. I think one of the biggest things I can learn from and like talking about this question is the Pride event last year.
Mm,
So, where the actual event itself was kind of balanced to be quite difficult because we were testing some stuff out and we wanted to get some learnings from it.
yeah.
But unfortunately, from a player side of things, they didn't really enjoy it. They found it too hard. So now learning from that experience, we've now realized, okay, how do we balance these events to be more generous and rewarding to our players rather than just focusing on what we needed to learn as a product manager or as a game designer, for example.
I'd prefer to hear that we made a mistake, we want to rectify it,
Yeah.
than hear we made a mistake. Oh well, that means nothing to us.
Yeah. And I feel like we owned up to it as well. Like we all realized that we
And
may
it
have done
sparked
something.
a lot of really interesting
Oh
follow-up
yeah, definitely.
discussions as well,
Yeah.
because having a challenging event in a game, that can be multiple different things. Some of the systems that we currently have in Love and Pies don't work as perfectly as we want them to, and then trying to place emphasis on those, the challenge then becomes frustrating, whereas we can create different outlets where players can feel like they have more agency over the process the progress that they're making. So I think that we've got some interesting learnings just from a whole gameplay perspective as well.
That's awesome and leads very nicely to my next question, which is what kind of game experience do you want to give our players?
I want to deliver something that is I think cozy sort of first and foremost. I think Love and Pies is kind of a big comfort game. Probably for a lot of people, for me it certainly is. And the things that we're working on, not just on the content side from the story and the narrative that we're delivering, but the gameplay, just trying to figure out how we can make that more smooth. There's just some bumps in the road currently that I think are detracting from the sort of cozy experience that we would like it to be.
Yeah.
I think from my side, like I mentioned, I kind of like our game to be a learning experience for people. Like we've had events such as the last year's Green Game Jam that Becca worked
Mhm.
on, which was really, really, really informative about the frogs from the Amazon and like what we can do as a community to help them, like basically not let them get into extinction. Correct, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think things like that. I don't know any of the games that have done that,
No.
that I've played anyway, at least. So providing those learning experiences is something good because I feel like it gives the players a breath of fresh air. They're like, oh, wow, I never knew about this. Like, great. It's great to know that someone is actually thinking about this in the real world.
I think that's a really good point because, on one hand, I think a lot of us have really good intentions and want to do stuff, but when you feel you're alone and you're
Mm,
sitting alone with your feels and your worries and anxieties, it can be a very tough place to start acting
hmm.
and trying to take action. And yeah, giving players a sense of, oh, hey, I'm not alone out there, and finding a community first through us and then maybe through the rest of the Love and Pies community, I think is a lot of what we're
Mm,
currently talking about behind the scenes, so
yeah.
to speak.
And then, kind of on the flip side, I also want to make a challenging game. I kind of want to, not a challenging in the sense it's so hard you can't complete it.
Yeah.
Challenging in the sense that, if an event is happening, I want to give players that kind of motivation to go, I need to push, I need to do this because I really want to get this.
I've never felt a feeling like winning Cash Dash, and it sounds so
I
sad.
won my first cash dash literally last week, and I was like, I've never finished not cash dash, sorry, date
Date
dash,
Dash.
and I was like, woo, like yes, great.
Date Dash is one of those, like, I mean, I win it every now and again.
Yeah.
I play a lot. But every time it still feels rewarding because, like you say, without the challenge, you also don't have that, like, oh, I've reached the peak. Like,
Yeah,
I've finally gotten here. It feels good every time.
because like
Yeah.
I can feel like with cash dash, I can get by just doing what I normally do in the game, and like just sneakily kind of prepare for it because
Hmm.
we all know that little trick.
Yep.
Um,
Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
But I do have a final closing question. So, what are you most looking forward to for the next year for Love and Pies?
Okay, so we've got something really big in the works actually right now. Love and Pies has a little bit of a sort of underdog story where it had to be developed very quickly, and often that meant that there's just some things in the game that don't work as well as we want them to.
Hmm.
And we have been taking a lot of time out to make sure that we can revisit the heart of the game and have it feel all the more rewarding for players. I'm not going to go into details, it's going to be rolled out in bits and pieces, but I think it is really going to change, hopefully, the whole feeling of the game and allow you guys to merge all of your lovely bookcases and have it be a really awesome experience for starters.
Are you going to give
But
me more dice?
perhaps.
Oh,
Mm.
exciting.
That is a good teaser.
More books, more dice. But that is just a tiny, tiny little slice of the pie. Oh no, stop.
God, it's
Edit
like
that out.
Joe's in the
Don't keep that
room.
in. Yeah, no, I think there's gonna be a really sort of like fundamental quality of life improvement, I think, for players on the horizon. What we've
Yeah.
been saying about trying to deliver better and better experience, it's not just events, it is not just challenges. It
Yeah.
is taking the day to day and everything that our players engage with from moment to moment and making it better. And I think that is going to be changing in the next couple of months in a big way. And I can't wait for our players to see it. I've been really excited.
I'm excited.
I'm really
Like,
excited.
I can't wait. Like, playing the game every day. And I'm like, when Becca talks about these things that are happening behind the scenes, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Something else I'm really excited for is something I'm working closely on is trying to get some more kind of smaller, quicker events in for people in the game to help them along and kind of give them something to work along whilst waiting for bigger events to
Mhm.
happen. And trying to provide players with some excitement and go, oh my God, there's this cool thing starting in an hour. I need to get this done, like, because it's really fun. La, la, la. And that's another thing alongside with what Becca mentioned about the collection feature. Like, that's another thing that I'm really excited for, to give our players an experience of like events that they can do within the hour and things like that, so that their sessions can feel more important than
Yeah.
coming back every few hours, etc. I think that'd be
Nice.
really fun too.
Well, thank you so much. You've been amazing guests, and I've loved this. This has
No,
been
it's been
amazing.
great.
Thank you for having us. You have a
Yeah.
lovely home.
Happy Pride!